I totally look like a burglar or a Sharpie. That's kind of what I'm going for. I'm going more for the Sharpie, not the burglar, because I'm not a burglar. Nor am I a Sharpie, but I'd rather be a Sharpie than a burglar. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a very requested video, which surprises me. Let me take a sip of water and think about it. So today we're going to be talking about school organization, studying tips, and I'm also going to talk about my next semester of schooling and what classes I'm taking, because I thought it would be interesting somewhat for some of you maybe. I'm in my second year of university. I'm in my second semester of my second year and I'm feeling good. Last semester was like extremely boring and I kind of took all classes I wasn't that interested in. But that's like a really challenging thing to do because it makes those classes even harder and it makes it harder to actually do well because you don't care as much because you're like, this is so boring. I did actually pretty well past semester, but I had one class which was really weird and the teacher, like, it doesn't make any sense when you do well in all your other classes and then one class you don't do well. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So that's kind of what happened to me this semester, but YOLO, I'm a Sharpie, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to talk about kind of the studying tips that I've been using throughout high school and also now that I'm in university, or have been in university for a little while, what I've been doing and what I find most helpful. I will study and study and study and never feel ready, and I've kind of come to that point where, like, especially last semester where I was like, Emily, you need to step away, take a break and just like breathe because I'm overthinking it and then it just kind of nothing sticks in my head because I'm freaking out too much about it. I've always been the type of person to write everything out. Even when I take notes in class, like, I always hesitate to do typing because I know it won't like sit in my head. But I'm typing, I'm very like mechanical and I don't use my brain. Like, I'm just typing. Whereas when I'm writing something, I really have to think about like spelling, writing it, whatever. So I find that writing out helps me to remember things. So when I'm about to study for a midterm or a final or any sort of exam, I like to write out all my notes again. So I will basically take the key concepts or things that I think will be on the exam or what my professor has said, this is like a key concept, this is something you need to know. I'll rewrite it out, and usually what I do is I just use plain lined paper and I just write and write and write on that, and then that's kind of how I study. I'll continuously go over that. There's obviously a few negatives to that, and the biggest one is that I could miss some major concepts in what I've written down and not study that portion because for whatever reason I've missed it, and then I won't know it for the exam. If I do my exam, I can remember and see in my head where on the page that concept or whatever was written, and it kind of helps me to remember, but not always. Sometimes it's really just not helpful. I'm like, oh, it's in the middle of the page. It's great. Thanks, brain, for helping me so much. And I also find when you have it written down like that, you can see the answer and see the word, so you're not really using your brain completely. I feel like it's not completely like memorization. Last semester what I did instead was I used cue cards, and I used these for I think all my classes basically. And what I did was I would just write down the concepts. So this is carrying capacity and ecological footprint. And then I would write down whatever the definition is on the back, and it really helped me to remember, and that way I could test myself, like on the bus, I could be like, what's precautionary principle? And then I would say it, don't even know what it is anymore, and then I would read the back or whatever. So this is really helpful. Again, the same kind of downside to this is that you might miss a concept and then not have studied it. So it is really important to read your textbooks. That is something shocking, but I have a hard time thinking the textbook is important a lot of the time. Sometimes your teacher will completely just read right out of the textbook, but other times they won't, and you kind of have to connect the concepts for yourself. And I found that really difficult this past semester because a lot of the time they wouldn't even put like what chapter it was in, so you would be like, okay, well now I'm just gonna go read something on whatever you're talking about. The way to stay focused while reading a textbook is to have a piece of paper and a pen and a highlighter and go through your textbook and write down key concepts. You don't even have to write definitions, just write down the words that really stand out to you or that are already bolded in your textbook. You can go back after your lecture and connect the concepts that your professor talked about and what was really mentioned and like important in the textbook, and then connect them and have more knowledge on the particular concept. So that's something that I do, and oftentimes, like, you know, you get tired of doing it. I get it, it's hard. A lot of people find it really helpful to be tested by other people. I find it somewhat helpful. I also find it a little bit anxiety inducing because I feel like I need to like show the person that I know what I'm talking about, when in reality what I really need to be doing is showing myself that I know what I'm talking about. So what I like to do instead is kind of teach a person a subject. So instead of being like having someone hold up a cue card for me and be like, what is this? Instead I'll be like, this is whatever this is. This is what it does. This is some of the key facts. this is da-da-da-da. So I guess it is still testing, but I feel more in control and it doesn't stress me out as much, because that's a big thing. I know a lot of people have test anxiety, and I think everyone has like slight test anxiety. I've met a few people in my life that seem very cool and collected, but I think everyone's freaking out on the inside, which makes me feel better because I'm freaking out like all the time on the outside, inside, everywhere in between, because I'm a very stressful person. Yeah, everyone kind of gets stressed out, and just remember, like, you're all in the same boat. When you're in that big classroom or you're in that big lecture hall, and everyone is writing and you look up and you're like, oh my god, this is so terrifying, I don't know what I'm doing. Remember, everyone's doing the same exam, you're all in this together. They'll like turn over their test and then they'll look at the things and be like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what this is, I have no idea what this is. But oftentimes, like, at least for myself, when those sorts of things happen, I am looking at a term out of context and then I won't understand it. And there's often two terms to one concept, so something that might connect, like, or mean the same thing, but you might not like really understand one thing, but it might mean another. This next semester, I actually am very excited for my classes. I'm gonna tell you guys what they are because I can't remember them, so I have to look on my phone because literally my brain is still dead from last semester. What else is new? I'm taking abnormal psychology, which is exciting, and I'm thinking I might minor in psychology because I think I've already taken 4 or 5 psych courses and I might as well minor in it. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now, but who knows. And then I'm taking sociological theory, which, if you don't know, sociology is my major. And then I'm doing feminist action, which is a gender studies course, which I'm very interested in. Gender studies, just interesting to me. And then I'm actually taking another history course, and this one is like Canadian societies or something. It relates to my major, so that's why I took it. But yeah, those are the 4 courses I'm taking this semester, so hopefully it's fun. I'm not taking any like sciencey courses this semester. This is the first semester where I haven't taken a sciencey course, which is really weird. Other than that, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all very soon. Bye guys!